Are you at least gonna say hi? You're so cute. Do you want to be in the video? No? Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Heather. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. Today I'm going to be talking about how I had COVID, my experience with COVID-19, and how I survived COVID-19. Let me just start off by saying that I know talking about COVID is a very serious thing. So I'm not trying to make light of this in any way. I am COVID free right now. I'm healthy, we're good. I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to give you medical advice if you have COVID. I'm just going to tell you my experience, what helped us, and yeah, I just wanted to start out by saying that because I know that it is it's obviously it's a sensitive subject for good reason. Also, I'm filming this all in one take as much as possible, and my animals, when I start talking on camera, just go crazy. So you can hear Rufus, my pug, walking around. My cat is suddenly getting frisky and ripping up the carpet. That's just usually what happens when I start to film a video. When we first started to feel symptoms, it kind of started to feel like a cold. So my husband had a sore throat, and he was just kind of feeling tired. I started feeling tired, and it kind of just started out as like, oh, we don't have a lot of energy, we're not feeling great. And then he got tested, was positive, and then we knew, okay, this is COVID, this is what we have. And along with that, his taste went away, he couldn't smell. For me, everything seemed to be like a little bit behind Kellen. So he got it, and then it was almost like a week later then I would get whatever symptom he had. So Kenzie, who's 6, didn't really seem to be affected by it. It's hard to say because there's so many different symptoms. Some people have like skin things, or I don't know, like just get smaller symptoms, if that makes sense. So there would be some times where Kenzie would have a stuffy nose, but other than that, she didn't have the rest of the symptoms that my husband and I had. So, and then Sienna, who is 4, she had a really bad fever, and she would get kind of cranky, but the fever was very short-lived. It wasn't for very long, and she didn't seem to get the rest of the symptoms that Kellen and I did, which were a lot of things. So for me, it started out as just feeling like a bad cold, and then I remember there was a day that was kind of the beginning of like, oh my gosh, this is going to be horrible, isn't it? And I could already feel like I was really, really tired. Really, not just like, oh, I don't have energy, like exhausted, tired. I started feeling hot flashes off and on, and I was like, that's interesting, okay. I was feeling zaps, like almost like you're touching an electrical fence. I don't know quite how else to explain it. I was feeling like little shock pulses through my body. That was very unpleasant. And that was the day that I was like, this is gonna get bad, isn't it? Because this isn't just a cold. So for me, I would say I was sick for, the worst of it was probably like 1 week. That's just me. Everybody is different. My pug is being loud. The worst of the worst. But it starts out, at least for me, I'm gonna keep saying that because I'm scared people are gonna be like, that's not my experience. This is Heather's experience. So there's like the sore throat level of it, you know, it's just like I feel crappy, and then there's, I don't know why I'm doing this like it's a graph, but like would peak at like, I don't want to get out of bed, all I can do is sleep, my throat hurts, I feel like I have a terrible cold, my stomach hurts. You just don't really want to function. And I think the thing that I didn't realize was going to happen is that it really affected my mental health. And I feel like that should be talked about a little bit more, because I started in those days where it was really bad, I started realizing that I was feeling depressed, anxious. And I know that for me, I am someone who, I love to get things done, and I'm going to school and complete YouTube projects and be working on my book. So the fact that I was feeling like I don't want to do that stuff doesn't sound like something I would do and doesn't bring me joy. I knew, I was like, no, that's not how I'm really feeling. I can tell this sickness, COVID, is affecting my mental health. And there's been some studies done on that. I'm sure they're still gaining information on how it affects mental health. And I have struggled with depression in the past, but I knew that it came on so suddenly where like it wasn't this, I don't know how depression usually would be for me, to just suddenly be like, whoa, I really don't want to work on any of the things that bring me joy or that usually do. That's a problem. So, and I'm feeling better now. I feel motivated. I want to do these things. I want to make these projects, jump back into writing and into school. And anyway, so that's how I know too, like, okay, that was a very COVID related thing for me. So I'm so glad to be feeling better than that. So if you have COVID and you're starting to feel that depression or that hopelessness, and not everybody will with that, but if you are, it does get better, and you will feel better from that, because it's hard to see out of that when you're feeling that way. Depression is like that anyway, but especially when it comes on really quickly, it feels like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? Like, I feel defective or something. So just know it does get better. Separate from the mental health stuff, I had a lot of physical pain in my eyeballs, which I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny. I think I'm laughing because that sounds really horrible and I'm like nervous to talk about it. So my eyes hurt a lot for probably like 5 days when it was really bad. They really, really hurt. And that happened for Kellen as well. So that was weird. Like, and he told me that beforehand. He said, that's one of the symptoms. And I was like, your eyes hurting? Okay. And so when it started happening, and they just felt sore, like my eyeballs felt sore. And, there was one day, oh, sorry, I gotta help my dog. 1 second. One day I had a Zoom class, and I understand that I could tell my teacher, like, I'm not gonna be able to come to Zoom class today. And I know my teacher would have completely understood, but I thought, okay, I can do this. I can at least like sit in my Zoom class, just have my computer on my lap. I can show up for that. And I was just watching myself, like I was able to see myself on the Zoom class, and yeah, I was like, it's pretty apparent that I am really, really sick. And when I was in that class, just because I looked so beat up and so tired, I didn't even realize I was looking like that. And then for some reason in the middle of class, my eyes, they were already feeling sore. Fluid just started coming out. I wasn't crying. It was just, my eyes started leaking. I know that sounds like, oh my gosh, you were crying, but they were really, really sore, and then tons of liquid started coming out, and I was grabbing tissues and dotting, and I had this really sweet girl from my class message me, and she's like, are you okay? And I was like, I have COVID. So anyway, that was a strange one. That only happened that one time, where all of a sudden, maybe twice actually, now that I think about it, there was another time. But the really sore eyes, and then just fluid pouring out, which is really gross. I don't know what that was about, but yeah, the eye thing was really weird. Not being able to taste, that lasted for a really long time and was frustrating. I mean, I know that on top of other things, it's okay. You can survive not being able to taste. it's just weird. It just makes you feel off. And then not being able to smell. There was a time where Kellen opened some feta cheese because our kids really like to eat feta cheese. And I know usually what that smells like. And I held it right up to my nose and I was like, I can't smell this at all. And I kept doing that. And every time Kellen was like, why are you surprised? And I'm like, I don't know. It just keeps catching me off guard. Like I'd put peppermint oil right up to my nose and nothing. I don't know. COVID is a strange thing anyway. So we were able to stay at home. I could do my classes online, so I wasn't getting anyone sick. We had our groceries delivered and dropped off and just spent that time at home resting as much as we could. It's really hard when you're a parent and you have two hyper little kids running around because you can't just stay in bed all day. And I think that's what really started to get me frustrated too, is that I was like, I want to be able to like do the laundry and do the dishes, and I know that it's fine and we could survive without everything being done. But those are just such basic things that I'm like, I want to have enough energy to do a load of dishes. And that's how tired I was, that I was like, I did one load and I would feel, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. So that was really frustrating. Or, you know, my 4-year-old wanted to play hide and seek or run around, and I wanted to so bad, but I don't know. That's such a struggle for me as a parent to feel like you can't, you know, play with your kids and be hyper with your kids when you're sick yourself. But I don't know. It's just frustrating, and that was hard because I want to be able to be that energetic parent. And so anyway, that's always something that I struggle with when I'm not feeling great, because I want to be there for them. We did our best. We were okay through that. I was taking ibuprofen and Tylenol, just kind of switching off, which I know doesn't sound like it would do much, but my body was just kind of aching. And of course, like the headaches, the stuffy nose, I got a cough. I got a really bad cough. And so Mucinex really ended up helping with that. Also, I wish I would have done this sooner. This was so helpful, was putting a humidifier next to my bed. Really simple, so helpful. So if you have a humidifier, definitely use that. Mucinex, ibuprofen, Tylenol. Obviously, I was trying to drink a lot of fluids. I was taking some cold medicine in the daytime. We have like I don't know, almost like an Advil sinus for the day and the night. And sometimes it helps, sometimes it didn't. It depends. Like if I was really stuffed, I could feel the pressure really in my head. And so the decongestant or Advil sinus type of medicine would really help with that. So I did notice like drinking hot chocolate or like herbal tea, just something like warm and soothing down my throat really helped. The humidifier, taking hot showers with the steam, anything like that really seemed to help. Hot soups. So I know this is like really basic stuff, but just like that heat really made me feel so much better. And I have angel friends who would like drop off food, and that was so sweet, like for my mental health, but also just in surviving, because you don't really feel like doing anything. You don't feel like making food. And so I was really, really grateful for the friends that reached out and did that, because anyway, that was just such a lifesaver. So if you know someone who has it, maybe think about sending them food or something, because that meant just like the world to me. And it's not something that like I ever want to ask for. So anyway, we survived, we got through it. Those are the things that helped me. It was more like, I'm here, I'm uncomfortable, these are the things that are going to make it more comfortable, because it wasn't like anything I took was like, oh, I feel, back to normal. So trying to get as much sleep as possible, which is hard when you feel really uncomfortable. But yeah, those are the things that we did, and tried to stay at home and rest and just, yeah, take it easy as much as possible. So I'm so grateful that we're doing better now. I know that for some people they have things that linger on and on and on, and I'm not trying to like make light at all or say that like, oh, it's a short-lived thing, because I know it's so different. I know that it's just different for everyone. I know that it's taken the lives of a lot of people, and so I know that is, I'm not trying to make light of that at all. I'm just telling you guys my experience with it, and so we are COVID free now, not contagious, not spreading it, and just feeling grateful that we survived, and we're doing okay, because I know the numbers right now are rising everywhere, and so and we're careful, like we wear masks, we're not like, I don't know, we're careful, we take COVID seriously. So anyway, I'm just glad that we're feeling better now. So thank you guys for watching. If you've had COVID, or if you have questions about my experience with it, leave a comment down below. But if you do think that you have it, contact your doctor, whoever you need to make sure that you can stay healthy. So anyway, I hope you guys do stay healthy. I hope that you guys are having a great week, and that you have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in another video very soon. Bye guys.